Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. I just wanted to introduce myself and the team, and I'm sure the Park District would like to start us off here. We have 4 attendees with us tonight, but as people come on, they're certainly more than welcome to jump on in and catch up.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this virtual meeting for the Meadowbrook Park Playground. We're excited for those of you that are on the line, and we know that lots of other people have also provided input via the survey that we have going right now. So I am Kara Dudek-Meisel, and I'm park planner for the Urbana Park District. And as far as Park District staff, we also have Derek Liebert, who's the superintendent of planning and operations, and then Andy Russo, who's the project manager. This particular meeting is one of just a few different opportunities for us to talk to you all. Like I mentioned, there's a survey, and I hope that both us and you gain a lot from this 1-hour meeting that we're having. It's being recorded, so if anything, you could share it with people that you know that weren't able to make it, or it'll be on the Meadowbrook Playground webpage that we have on our website for the project as a whole. So our playground consultants, Upland Design, will give some background information and ask a series of questions that you'll get to answer via poll. And then the results of that poll will be shared so you can see what the other people on this call chose. So for that sake, I hope that some more people join so that the results are a little bit more exciting. But either way, we're able to keep the results of that poll and include it in with our survey results as well. So later we'll have an opportunity where you can just share and speak be the raised hand tool. So we'll be able to, allow you to turn your audio on, or you can share anything in the Q&A. So I'll hand it back over to Upland. Thanks.
All right. Hi, my name is Maria Blood with Upland Design. We are a park planning and landscape architecture firm and super excited to be working with the Park District closely on going through this process for Meadowbrook Park. Michelle, would you like to say something about yourself here?
Yeah, thanks so much, Maria. And I'm going to be in the background taking pictures and notes throughout so that Maria can run the show. So everything that gets voted on, we're going to take snips of. So we're ready to hand that over so we have a full information, as Kara said. So thanks for joining us tonight.
All right. So certainly we'll go through the presentation first, and like Kara had mentioned, we will have some opportunity for questions as we go through. So tonight it's really just going through the initial input. So we talked a little bit of introductions. We'll go through the project process and the timeline of the project as a whole and where we're at currently. We'll also review survey 1. I'm not sure if you guys had an option or had the opportunity to fill out that survey number 1, but we'll go ahead and review some of that. Kind of take a deeper dive of our site analysis of the site that we kind of took a look at, and then kind of discuss inspiration images, and that's where the interactive pieces come in. So certainly up until that, towards the end, we'll leave some time for questions, but if you want to answer questions along the way, we'll try and get to those towards the end as well. So either type or talk we'll get your input. All right, so a little bit on the project as a whole for the project process. It's a really exciting time because we're really at the initial public input phase. So there are 4 phases of the project in total. We have a site analysis and project program, our schematic design phase, a preliminary master plan, and then master plan completion. So in the areas that are highlighted, that's where we are really going to the public at each step of the way before we get to the master plan completion. Today, as you can see, December 7th, we're hosting this initial virtual public meeting. It's really to hear what your thoughts are before we even jump into schematic design. As we go through this though, we will be talking to staff in the interim, as well as the board and the advisory committee. So there's lots of feedback that we'll be getting along this process. And this is a very crucial part for you guys to be a part of.
So coupled with this virtual public meeting, there's a few other things we're doing to gather input as well. So this image is from the after school program that we went to yesterday and took the exact same images that you all will be seeing and that are in the survey and had kids put sticky dots on which ones they like the most. And then some of them also filled out the survey too and shared a bit more input. Our Urbana Park District Citizen Advisory Committee is also reviewing this project. So they're citizen volunteers that sit on a committee that meets monthly and advise us on what people in their neighborhood and the community are saying and represent a voice that's different from Park District staff. We have an online survey, and in the last 6 days that it's been open, there's already over 430 responses, which is pretty incredible, to be honest. And then we're just going to put out signs and posters for general information at Phillips Recreation Center, the Anita Purvis Nature Center, Urbana Free Library, and then some yard signs out at Meadowbrook. And those will just be more general so people can see what the website is or scan a QR code and be part of the planning process no matter where we are. As you could see from that timeline, it's from this fall through next spring. So it's not like decisions are being made right now and this is the only time for input. And so just really briefly, like Maria mentioned, there was survey 1, which ran in October. And it was both, we went out to the playground and we intercepted people who were there, and we had an online version. And one of the questions was, I am looking forward to the next playground being a place that feels. What do you want it to feel like? Blank and blank. And so these open-ended questions gave us a real solid background on what people wanted the next playground to feel like, to include, and other information they wanted to share with us. And so I just briefly wanted to show you which words were most commonly used and what are sort of the guiding principles for the design and the process moving forward. And so those are safe, fun, unique, and then we have welcoming, adventurous, exciting, natural, inclusive, and creative. And there was a lot of other things that we learned from this survey too, but this was the basis for creating the survey 2 in the second round of input.
All right, so after we had received some initial input, feelings from the community, we kind of took a closer look at the site itself. So here we are where the playground is at in the project location. This is the shelter here and the existing parking lot and the big structure with the swings over here. Our analysis of the entire site, we kind of take an overlook of, not just site photos, but take a look at data available via GIS or other systems that include soils and floodplain and wetlands. Certainly zoning has an impact, and tree preservation. All of those, and you could see right here, certainly this helps set the bounds for what this space may be. This blue line here, you can see that is actually where the floodplain is. So, that is definitely something that we won't want to impact, but it's good to know now versus later during design. We kind of flesh out all these things in the beginning so that we could really make a better design for the community. The other things that we take a look at are tree preservation. There are lots of beautiful trees on the site, and the intent is not to remove any of them if they're of quality, which they are. So we will be working around all of them. The other thing that we kind of take a look at is like existing built elements. So the parking lot, how does it serve its need? Is there a different kind of use? Is there additional parking that may be needed in the future? These are all things that we're kind of up in the air, but we really take a look, we take the time during site analysis to take a deeper dive into what you have and how it's being used. We also have the existing shelter and restroom building, certainly taking a look at circulation between all of these pieces. So how does this shelter connect to the playground now? Well, it goes around closer to the parking lot and around. Is there an opportunity to make more of a direct connection? That is certainly a possibility. We also take a look at existing sculptures on site. I believe there's one over here, and then site lighting as well. There's existing site lighting that we might want to maintain moving forward. And then we kind of, what we really want to get from you guys tonight is, your feelings on these categories. We have pulled a variety of images tonight for you guys to take a look at. These are very similar to what is posted on the online survey itself. So if you haven't gotten a chance to do that, we're going to go through it again tonight. But we tried to categorize everything into different groups to really hone in on what kind of style or feel or what do residents really want at Meadowbrook. So these are the categories that we're going to take a look at: shade, slides, spinners, some overall play structures and climbers, tot areas, so that 2 to 5 range, 2 to 5 year old range, zip lines, balance, and swings. So a variety of different things within each of these categories. So I'll go more in depth and we'll start this polling and interactive process. But just an overall on the shade, we're certainly looking at, is it something more whimsy? Is it natural tree shade? Is it fabric structures like C or D? Or is it something a little bit more of a metal shade, but it kind of looks like a leaf? So again, through all of these, as you can see, there's different options within each category to really get a feel for what your favorites are. And then we'll compile all that information and then get a feel for how we should move forward. It won't be the end all be all because we are, like Kara mentioned, getting input from various different sources and different opportunities for the community to provide their input. But I feel like tonight is a great sample case for what you may want. So we'll go through each of these sections in more detail. So right now I'm going to turn on the polls. If you ever, as we go through these, if the screen is ever lost somewhere on your screen, just click on the bottom at the polls and that will pop up. So I'll make it live here in a second. So the first one, really, we're talking about balance. So I'm gonna launch this poll here. There's many different types of balance. This one here, A, you have more of a swinging, kind of more challenging balance. Certainly you could stand on it. Older kids, younger kids can sit on their tummy and swing. So different types of balance. What we really want to try and get after is what is your favorite?
And you can move the question around on the screen while you're thinking about how you want to answer it. The white box you can move.
The poll is live now, so feel free to vote if you know. This is more of a traditional balance, a balance beam, but it also offers, kind of that core strength that is vital in development. Here it's a little bit more of a natural stepper logs throughout. Here we have a group balance, more of a spring. And here, even though D, it may look similar to B, this offers a variety of challenges because it's not just one straight length. You're going up and you're going down and twisting and turning. So different challenges as well. Okay. We have a few in. All right. If anyone is having issues voting, let us know. Just raise your hand or something and we'll get that taken care of. Okay. All right. I think we're good. We have 5 attendees and 4 votes. We'll give it like 5 more seconds. Close the poll and review it. All right. Let's take a look at the tally. Looks like D. D is kind of the winner. I like that one too. I mean, I like all of them. All right. we're going to continue going through all of these different ones. I think there's 9 questions in total. And again, we'll go through some questions in general. All right. Climbing. So this one has 2 sides because there's lots of different types of climbing. A here is a spinning and a climbing, which is kind of nice. This also offers a transfer station for accessibility to that first platform, which is very important. Accessibility is one thing that I want to mention, even though as playground designers, we like to include it no matter what. So we try and make it more inclusive as we go through this. So even though, you know, some of the climbing may not look accessible, we're making it accessible no matter what. Here is B is a little bit more of a traditional kind of to a deck structure. C is a little bit more of a challenging rock climb wall, but with a modern twist. E is a little bit more of a naturescape. You know, what does this look like as far as a concrete rock structure connecting to a deck? More of a natural feel. We have F here that is more of a traditional net structure. D, again, more natural with logs climbing up and down. And then G, that overhead component, very important component for upper body strength to incorporate into a playground. So here is a review of all of them again for climbing. I'm going to launch that poll. Go again. What is your favorite? I feel like we should have background music or something for these.
Jeopardy
Yeah.
soundtrack, that would be perfect.
Right. Something. All right, a few more seconds. All right. Our results are a little bit more mixed on this one. So we have our A, which is the spinning and climbing. We have our, well, I keep on moving this around. Our E, our natural stone. And then our F, our net structure. This is excellent feedback because we could certainly have a combination of all 3. Certainly, you know, this is more of an independent piece. This is a structure, but this can also be tied to a structure. So I'm glad to see some of these, this feedback. All right, on to 3, slides. Slides are always fun. They should always be part of playgrounds. So here we have 5 different options. We have a very twisty, windy slide that's open for A. B, there is more of a tunnel slide, which offers a sense of enclosure, but you know, for sensory, sometimes that's a good thing to have in a playground. I'd be curious what your thoughts are on that. We also have dual racing slides, which are always fun to kind of challenge play within the group. We have metal slides, which are a possibility, and then 2 little zip slides. So here we're going to go ahead and launch our slide question. What's your favorite? All right. Well, we got people changing. All right, a few more seconds. Okay. For slides, we got the twisty, twisty, windy slide. I like it. That is a fun one. All right. For the next thing that we want to talk about is spinning. So what does that kind of look like? We have group spinning. We have more of a traditional wheelchair accessible spinning. The difference between these two, this one is certainly accessible as well. It offers back support, which is very important. This one, you could get an entire mobility device on the structure itself. And you can see this kid here in the blue shirt is helping aid in spinning that entire spinner. You could also use this little table in the middle, like teacups, and spin it yourself. Here on E, we have a standalone stand-up spinner, a different kind of group spinner here for D. And then for C, we have a cup spinner, which is always fun. All right, so spinning, what's your favorite? A few more seconds. All right. Sharing results. Almost a 40-60 mix between A and B. So the group spinners. I agree. It's good to have group activities as well as individual. All right. This next one, we are talking swings. There's a variety of different swings. I'm just gonna launch the poll now while I talk through it. So here we have a more, they call this one a friendship swing, but certainly an intergenerational swing. So either a caretaker or a tot, or even teenagers going back and forth. You face each other and swing together. Here we have an accessible swing seat with back support. For C, we have a group swing, where it's almost like a modern take on a tire swing, where it's a disc and they just pile on and swing together. Then you have a traditional belt swing and then a top swing. So we'll give you a few more seconds here to vote on your favorite swing. All right. Poll is closed. Again, 60-40 mix between A, which is the intergenerational swing, and C, the group swing. Nice. All right. On to ziplines. Question 6. Ziplines has gained popularity a lot the last few years in playgrounds. It is a great way to learn patience and wait in line for your turn, but also a great way to move through a space. It's a different kind of sensory experience. So here we're talking about different kinds of zip lines. A is, I just opened the poll. A is more of a track ride, but you can do 2 dual zip lines next to each other, one with an accessible seat and one with a stand-up or sit-down seat. B is more off of a like a port-in-place rubber mound that you could zip down. C is more of a deck structure that you can climb up top before you zip. And then D is more of a classic hand zip above you. So we'll wait a little bit for people to cast their votes. All right, a few more seconds. Okay, zip lines. A, the dueling ziplines. It's a clear favorite in this group.
Maria, can you go back? I didn't
sorry.
see it pop
I
up.
didn't, thank you.
Oh, there
I
we
didn't share the results, that's why. I can see them, but you couldn't. All right. Okay. Now moving on to TOPS. So children less than 5. Certainly an age bracket that we want to make sure that we pay attention to. Certainly playgrounds are broken up into the 2 to 5 area and the 5 to 12. We'll continue to do that. Just for age separation, every child develops differently, especially in that, that younger age range. So we want to make sure that we have enough play appropriate pieces for them. So question 7 is all about the TOPS. A, we have more of cute little fun playhouses that offer opportunities for climbing and sliding and crawling. B, we have more of a fun play on some net and slide, but you know, maybe it's a little different take on a theme. This theme in particular is a little pumpkin patch, but theming right now is open-ended. If that's your favorite, then we'll consider, you know, some kind of theme moving forward. C offers multiple different manipulative parts. So here we have a door going back and forth. We have a little paddle that that kids can use. We have pieces that go on these bars that are manipulative. You know, very good at that developmental age for manipulative play. D, we have a little bit more whimsy and creative play. So what does that space look like to them? How can they role play? And then E, we have here, this is very much a top play piece, certainly going inside and outside and up top. But a lot of times this is also, surprisingly, a lot of older kids use that one too, to kind of play King of the Mountain. All right, it looks like we have a few votes in, but we'll give you a few more seconds to vote here on your favorite top piece. All right. Share the results. This one's a little bit more mixed. So we have a little bit of everything. It's good to see. All right. Shade. Shade is also another one that is important to a playground. It offers caretakers to stay longer, certainly offers a little bit more UV protection, something that we're more cognizant now about. So we have different shade options. We have this whimsy flower shade. We have natural shade, using existing trees, planting more trees for shade as they get bigger. We also have this fabric shade that in this particular application is a little bit more themed, like sailing ships. And here we have a cantilever fabric shade. So what does that kind of look like? And then E here is more that take on a leaf structure, but it is a metal structure with permanent shade year round. So the poll is posted. What's your favorite on the shade? All right, a few more seconds. All right. We'll close that poll and share our results. So a little bit mixed, but we have 2 for natural shade, some for some kind of fabric theme shade, and some for metal structure. So certainly as we move forward, we'll kind of think about all of this and what that might look like in the concept plans moving forward. All right. And then our last question here that we wanted to get input on, and then we could open up to some Q&A. Playground structures itself. So the showpiece, the big structure. Certainly there's other pieces of playground that we're going to incorporate, like that 2 to 5 that I spoke about, or shade. But what does the big piece almost look like? Here we have more, again, of a themed structure that's climbable. On B, there is a more of a nature treehouse feel to it. C is a little bit more modern intake, where you get a little bit taller, but it's all enclosed for safety, and you get some slides that you can reach higher heights, but also offer some lower heights for kids that don't want to push the limits too much or just yet. D here, we have a structure here that has some internal climbers. And again, another tube slide and different slide options. And these last 2 here, you know, again, on a theme, what that may look like with a slide. And then F, again, more of a nature feel to it. So I'm going to launch this poll, and here's all of them together at once. What's your favorite of the following playground structures? And how much do you like it overall as an option for Meadowbrook Park? Again, it says it in here and in the survey as well. Keep in mind that don't look at colors. Colors can be changed. They can be adjusted. Just really look at the piece and the feel for what you want Meadowbrook Park to look like. All right, a few more seconds. All right, and polls are closed. Looks like we have a mix on this one as well. 2 for A, which is the owl structure or themed structure. We have a C for this climber structure, and then E and F each received a vote as well. So all very interesting. I feel like this is pretty consistent with what we're trying to get out of you. All right. So at this point, again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming on to this, and we'll open it up to some questions if you'd like. We're certainly here. Like we talked about in the beginning of the presentation, this is also online at the online for a survey. So your neighbors or kids or whatever, feel free to check out the Urbana Park District website or go to this SurveyMonkey link directly. Fill out the survey, and we'll continue to compile before we get to this next step. I'd like to open it up now for any questions. If you want to speak, go ahead and just at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little raise hand button. This guy right here, raise hand, and we'll get you talking.
I'll just jump in and say that we did have a question kind of in the chat, and I answered it, but I thought I'd just bring it up so everybody can hear that Meadowbrook's wooden play structure makes it very unique in our town. Is there any consideration for something similar? And so the answer that was written is that really all ideas are on the table right now. So certainly something unique is what everyone has been talking about, that it needs to be unique to fit this particular space. But what is that unique is what we're trying to get to the bottom of. So we want to hear from you, and we hope you maybe we'll add another comment in the chat or raise your hand and tell us what you think unique means.
And just to expand upon that a little bit too, we're trying to keep all options open and let the next generation of kids sort of guide this process. So even though something similar to what's there is on the table, something completely different is also an option. And so it's been kind of cool to see what in certain images excites kids and what are important considerations for parents as well, because some of what we know about the existing structure is that the sight lines aren't super clear, so it's hard to see kids that are playing on it. That the partial fence is helpful for keeping kids away from the parking lot. And so there's some sort of pros and some cons that we've learned over the last 25 years or so from that structure. And we hope that the next one will be even better for the kids.
It's a quiet group. Nobody wants to jump in or give a little input on that. Maybe something you love. Oh, Virginia has her hand up.
Yep, Virginia, you should be able to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
I guess my concern is knowing that there's so many groups that go out there to use the structure over time, that it be large enough to accommodate a lot of kids. And I don't know how many, what you're thinking of as far as the number of kids to accommodate. I don't know if it's even possible to calculate that, but I think we want to make sure it's big enough for a lot of use, because I know it's gotten a lot of use over the last 25 years. So we want to maintain that.
Great input. It is 13,000 square foot right now, probably one of the largest playgrounds around. And I think that we're all looking at something that's a similar size that you see on the footprint, so that it can accommodate a lot of kids.
Good. Okay.
Judy had messaged, sent a chat to everyone saying that she's always intrigued by play that allows the child to be creative and imaginative, not just designed for one way to use a play item. I totally agree with that statement. It's important to give children the tools to play with something, but not necessarily drive what that something is. So making sure that there's room for imaginative play. There's room for circuit play, jumping between different components. We're always looking for those opportunities to just let them figure it out. So I like that comment, Judy. Thanks. All right, well, I was just gonna say, everyone's being a little too quiet. So certainly this doesn't mean that it's the end, or you don't get any more chance or opportunity to provide your input. You could certainly reach out to Park District staff directly through their website, or as I mentioned before, on the online vote as well. I'm gonna pull up the schedule one more time. Look forward to seeing you guys again come the second public meeting sometime in March, and then the third public meeting sometime in May. So the next time that the Park District is going to put something out, we'll start to see some of these concepts, flesh out a little bit, which is exciting based all off of your comments. So thank you again, everybody. I appreciate it, and we will we'll keep in touch.
Have a wonderful night.
Thanks so much.